Bad Brad Berkwitt Show is all about moving humanity forward and fighting for democracy. And remember, folks, every act of kindness is a little love we leave behind. Hey, folks, the man with the pinky ring and the New York thing. Forget about it. Bad Brad Berkwitt. And welcome to the Bad Brad Berkwitt Show on the Ringside Report web TV channel. Forget about it. I want to invite you to my first panel of 2024 on the Bad Brad Berkwitt Show. And the panel is called Exposing the MAGA Cult. And my two panelists today are the following. Pam Hemphill, who is a former guest who was arrested for her participation in the insurrection on January 6, 2021 at the U.S. Capitol. She pleaded guilty to one count of parading, demonstrating, or picketing in a Capitol building and served 2 months in jail with 3 years of probation. She finally got out of the MAGA cult after her release when she saw a scam involving a J6 insurrectionist who was raising funds in jail under false pretenses. Since then, Pam has done everything she can to shed light on what really happened on January 6th. Also, how important it is to not let Trump get reelected with his agenda being part of Project 2025. My other panelist is Ana Braga. She's an internationally published Brazilian model and wellness coach. Ana has worked as a Pilates fitness instructor for many years. As well, she's been published as a model in Cosmopolitan, Vogue Brazil, Playboy, to name a few. Ana has recently finished her Harvard course in lifestyle medicine, becoming a wellness coach. And as well, she has left the MAGA cult. And both of these ladies, who will be coming on shortly, have been attacked from every angle that you could possibly be attacked by misogyny, racism, and blatant lies. So we're going to set the record straight and we're going to expose the MAGA cult today on the Bad Brad Berkwitt Show. All right, well, ladies, first of all, good afternoon, everybody. I know it's afternoon as well. Couple hour time difference between the three of us, but the amazement of Zoom that we could be in different time zones and come together, which is fantastic. I want to welcome you to the panel today, Ana and Pam. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you, Brad.
Thank you, Brad.
You're quite welcome. We got a lot of information to cover for the viewers. We'll have talking points. Both Pam and Ana will talk to the areas that they know. And the name of this panel today is Exposing the MAGA cult. And the objective of this is hopefully to influence or persuade in a positive way, positive light, what really goes on in the MAGA cult and what they have both faced since they left the MAGA cult, which is very important to this panel because a lot of people aren't aware of what happens when you leave the cult because not too many people are leaving the cult. So let's just jump right in and we'll start like this with this talking point. And Pam, I'm going to throw this one to you. I know that you both were Republicans, but what was your initial attraction to Trump, who was different than any other candidate in Republican history running for president?
Well, actually, for me, there wasn't an attraction because I didn't like him that much. But having a family that I respected their opinion, they were able to point out some things about Trump that I didn't know about. And what they explained to me is that he really had a handle on what was really happening in the deep state, which I had no idea what that was at the time. And just pointed out some things that he was going to be able to bring to this country. And number one was the border, and stop the red tape of all this paperwork that was preventing things to becoming happen in the United States, and just different points that they pointed out to me. And I'm just guilty of going along with what they told me was the right reasons to vote for him.
Okay. And Ana, what would you say to that question? What attracted you?
More complicated because not growing up in this country and only seeing him on The Apprentice. So I thought that he was funny. The first debate, I thought he was funny. He was entertaining and a businessman. So attracted me because, he's a businessman, so he would treat the country as a business. And so I didn't catch a lot of the rhetoric. And now looking back, I'm like, what was I thinking? But when you're unaware of it, the fact that he was saying, oh, Mexico is not sending their best. So people were like, well, Anna, like there's a lot of dangerous people in Brazil too, and they could be coming in. And I'm like, oh my God, wow, that's crazy. So I didn't take it as offense at the time as an immigrant because I thought he meant, oh, only the dangerous people. But looking back, I'm like, wow, he really offended everybody. But at that time, you start making excuses because it sounds appealing to you as an immigrant that, wow, I got to vote for this guy because I left Brazil. Otherwise, we're going to be like Brazil. And that's something in the cult that they reinforce. Oh, to immigrants, hey, you don't want that craziness that you left to come here. So this guy is really going to be onto it. But then they would interview him. What do you think about the DACA kids? And he would have something nice to say because he wanted to play that, like he said a few times, sorry for spinning, I want to make America great again for everybody, even the people who don't like me. I want everybody to succeed. He held the LGBT community, LGBT flag, and you and I are, all of us here, allies of the LGBTQ, and I'm like, wow, this is the first Republican to hold an LGBTQ flag. This guy really wants it for everybody. So I fell for that. He's very smart.
Okay. So let me ask you this. When we say the cult, okay, I mean, you have Republican voters, you go to Republican functions and stuff like that. But this is different with Trump. They didn't call Bush, if you supported either Bush, the father or the son, they never said you were in a cult. You were just a Republican voter who went, you were conservative, whatever the case may be. But with Trump, with the insanity, it was called a cult. Now, Anna, I'm going to flip to you on this one because you and I've talked offline quite a bit about this. When you say to me at various times, they suck you into the cult, explain to the viewers watching today, what do you mean by that, where it's not just, going to a conservative function, Republican, whatever it may be, but the cult?
Well, first of all, I never been to a function or a rally.
Okay.
And I never wore the red hat per se, right? But going back to thinking that he was genuine with everything that he first started saying, but being in the cult and they started to turn on me, they really never liked me because, posing for Playboy and, having more like sexy pictures that I would post, but I mean like bikini pictures, to them, they think it's porn. So they're extremely religious, and you cannot criticize Trump. You cannot criticize, you cannot question. And I started questioning, wait a minute, I don't like the omnibus bill. That bill is too much spending. And they started to get mad at me and, oh, you have to trust the plan. That's where the cult started. Trust the plan. You got to trust the plan. And then you start noticing the Q stuff. And he's like a Jesus to them. You can't criticize. You have to give Trump a blank check. So I started noticing, wait a minute, this is kind of strange, but it wasn't until early last year that I really noticed that it was the cult. But I tell people, if you don't spend enough time on Twitter and you start seeing how these people are, and you go about your life dilly-dally, not watching the news, you really don't see it.
Okay. Before I come to you with that question, I want to follow up something with you because it's hypocrisy. You just said something. You posed for Playboy. Okay. So what? Melania did soft porn pictures. So there's hypocrisy there. How could they be upset with you, but Melania did basically lesbian pictures with another woman, basically her face almost in her crotch, and all of those type of pictures, and that was the first lady. So how did you ever push back on that with saying that type of stuff?
I did. I said we have similar pictures. She was very risque, even pregnant pictures by the plane. Oh no, well, you can't compare yourself to her. That's the first lady. That's her past. That's your present. She moved on. She's elegant now, but you are still. You need to cover up because you're not. Are you Christian? They will go back. Do you believe in Jesus? Do you read the Bible? And I'm like, are you kidding me? You think that Trump reads the Bible? Come on now, So they really started to turn on me. Like I tell many people, they never liked me from the get-go. I think they used me because I'm a minority, immigrant and a woman, and I had, being in magazines and TV. So to them, it's like, oh, she can spread the message. But I don't want to be unfair to the people who I'm still friends with. There were actually defended me against those people. Too bad that they don't see it, that they're all being used.
Okay. Pam, I want to ask you that same question. You and I kind of talked to that a little bit when you did my show last month about you did see things even when you were in the call. You pointed things, and they didn't like that when you asked. You said you asked a lot of questions, and I think you had mentioned your brother and different people had given you. Well, no, it's this, Pam, but talk to that as well. At the beginning, when you were in things that you started questioning and seeing, and then how they came back and they tried to explain it to you.
Well, first, there's no cult. MAGA's not a cult. There's no cult. The Democrats want to turn this into a communist nation, period. And hanging out with Ammon Bundy, of course, and they carry the Bible, and they're just the soldiers for God that is trying to bring this nation back, well, not back, to keep it the United States, a free country. And the Democrats are coming after us. They want to get rid of God. They want to take God off the dollar bill, Pam. They want to do everything that Hitler did. And we're going to push back on them. We're not going to let this happen. Looking back now, the people I talk to, I mean, senators, state senators, our representatives, they all hung out with Ammon Bundy, So I was on the right side because I'm not going to let the Democrats get rid of Christianity, and not let us all have our freedom of religion. That was one thing that Democrats wanted to get rid of, because all Democrats are atheists. Yeah. Well, I'm just telling you what the things I heard.
Oh, yeah.
But when you have questions, yeah, they shut you down. Give me the evidence where's the evidence the election was stolen? That's one I have never forgotten. It's like, where do I go see this? What what was the court hearings? And Pam, it doesn't matter because they just lie. Democrats lie, period. When I first got in my first J6 space that I started for gaslighting, when the Democrats came in, I said, you guys are talking identical. I'm hearing the same thing that I heard in MAGA. However, we do have the receipts that they do want to make this a communist country with Project 2025. But yeah, they gaslight you. It's a constant gaslighting. They believe it, and they have their own agenda. And like I was sharing with somebody last night, even the liars that know they're lying, they have the pawns that will carry their lie because they have their own agenda.
Okay. Talking point I want to start with you, Pam, is what was the attraction towards far-right groups and the MAGA flag-flying girls movement?
Oh, the MAGA girls movement. Well, they're standing up for Trump and for this country, and we're representing the good people. We're the good ones that want to keep the Democrats were going to take away the constitutional rights too. They wanted to rewrite it. They had told me that the Socialist Party said that the Constitution was written by old white men. So we need to change the Constitution, Pam. They're going to change the Constitution. I said, no, we're not going to change the Constitution. So that's what they were standing. It was symbolic that they were standing for Trump, and Trump was a symbol of keeping the country, our country, not changing the Constitution, if that makes any sense. Mm-hmm. It was symbolic.
Okay.
MAGA girl.
Okay. Anything you want to add to that, Anna?
It goes back to the cult. There's never receipts. Oh, and also, since you mentioned any proof that the election was stolen, I remember watching that night and was talking to a friend of mine on the phone while I was watching. My husband went to bed, and like about 3 a.m. they stopped the count, right? So I'm like, whoa, this never happened before. And Trump was way ahead. Then you start seeing videos of people posting, people coming in with suitcases. And, you know, I'm like, wow, suitcases. And they're like, oh, they're bringing ballots. So you start believing. I believed it. You know, I want to be honest. I believed that night that, wow, they stop it and they're bringing in ballots. But then there was a van and they said, oh, look, there's a van. And in the middle of the night. And I'm like, but what's inside the van? That's something that,
Yep.
how do we know it's really ballots? You know what I mean? It's like you have no proof, but they keep saying and saying and saying, but it wasn't until later that I'm like, okay, this is too much. You know, the courts don't want to hear it, and they're like, wow, you know, it's a deep state. They don't want him to win. This is all a setup. You know, like COVID was a setup. Everything was a setup to destroy Trump because he was working for the people. So it took me a while to wake up and go like, okay, wait a minute. It wasn't stolen.
Right.
But it
Wait,
took forever for me to wake up.
right. And then you had Dinesh D'Souza, who has this movie with 2,000, 200, whatever it is, mules, which is a bunch of
2000 mil.
bullshit.
No, I didn't watch.
Right. Convicted felon. He was a convicted felon and went to prison. They leave that part out. You know, and they attacked Ruby Freeman and Shay Moss and said it was a mint. Rudy Giuliani, who lost the lawsuit, I think 148 million he owes them, destroyed them. They had to move out of their house. All of that with election lies. You know, and then Trump talked about the mail-in ballots, but him and Melania have both voted through the mail. But when it doesn't work for him, then it's a problem. You know, this is like you said, the things that they put out there. Okay.
And one more thing, Kenneth,
Go ahead.
that conference, I really wanted to believe it was true, but it was so embarrassing, that conference with that, who's that writer, that woman? You know, they were at the conference and Rudy started, like, his hair dye started.
Oh, you're talking about Sidney Powell, the lawyer?
Yeah.
Or Jenna Ellis?
Yeah. Cindy Powell, a good friend of mine's like, oh, she's fantastic, believer. And I'm like, oh, the server in Germany, for sure that Trump won. And I'm like, I want to believe, but it started to like look ridiculous. That press conference was embarrassing.
Yeah. Well, remember, he also talked about Chavez, that Chavez was somehow involved. It was just insanity. And remember now, 60 out of 61 cases with Trump judges too, they lost. They lost all those cases. They threw them out. There was nothing. And lately, if you're really following it, they're finding that the irregularities were Republicans, like one guy that voted like 9 times. He just got in trouble. God. Yeah, he just got in trouble. So, you know, Chris Krebs worked for DHS, and he was over the election, you know, looking at the ensuring the integrity, and said that was the most secure election in all of our history to date. And when Trump found it out, he got fired. I don't know if you know about Chris Krebs. If not, I'll send you some stuff offline about him. But yeah, that all of those crazy things, like you said, came up, Anna. The talking point I want to ask you, Anna, is this: the MAGA war against the LGBTQ and their ridiculous outrage at Target last year and during Pride Month. What would you like to say about that?
Well, I was really right before. I'm like, okay, I'm done with this. You know, I saw it coming. Like we see this year too. We know this June's going to be a mess, especially after Easter fiasco. I caught them in several lies. The books that never made into the classrooms, that they were accusing the LGBTQ to be pushing their agenda to children. And one of the books that were graphic book, it's actually in the library, but if I'm not mistaken, you have to be 18 to read it. So not any child. And since when children are going to libraries in reading, like, you know, kids really don't want to read that much. You know, you pretty much have to force kids to read. But what I mean is, it's not like, oh, I'm 9 years old, I want to read that book. No, you can't. You have to be, I think it's either 18 or 16 that you are able to go check the book in a library. And I don't know if it's in every single school library. So it was that. I caught them in several lies, books that never made into the classrooms. And oh my God, that guy from that movie, Sound of Freedom, Tim Ballin.
Okay.
And I hope I can say this here. He was saying that teachers in California were teaching children in the classrooms, go in a corner and I'll teach you like how to masturbate, and you can masturbate in the corner. I'm sorry, I don't believe children are doing that, and teachers are pushing that kind of disgusting thing, nonsense. This is so disrespectful, and it's that guy's disgusting. I'm glad I didn't even want to check that movie. I'm like, no. And the war on Target was disgusting because they would go and they grab a shirt and go, look, it's a baby shirt saying pride. So what? This is ridiculous. And then another huge lie was, oh, the swimsuits, the tucking swimsuits, remember?
Yeah.
The tucking swimsuits were for adults. Is it the right venue? We can discuss, is it the right venue, Target, to sell? To me, it will be more something like an adult store would sell. We can talk about that. But they lied. They said that they were selling in the kids section for kids to start learning how to tuck. I mean, that is, don't lie. You know, I
Right.
hate lies. They lied to push a narrative. That's what they do in the MAGA. They have to lie. They lie about everybody. They lie about me. They want to, because I support LGBTQ, I'm transgender. I have transgender friends. I have LGBTQ friends and family. That doesn't offend me. So, I
Right.
mean, maybe it offends them, you know, but that's how they are. Too many lies. And you have that woman from Libs of TikTok. We need to eradicate transgenders. I mean, these people, I'm not talking about her per se, but I feel like some people in MAGA, if they could exterminate the whole community,
Yeah.
I think they would.
I agree. Pam, what would you like to say to that talking point?
No, she's absolutely correct, 100%. You don't see it though. So you don't see these things. Now it's out more than it was when I was involved. But because my best friends too are LGBTQ. You know, I have two women been married for 25 years and my best friends. And they had gone with me to a couple of events and of course they had to leave. They couldn't take it. But yeah, it's just not noticeable and you don't realize, but she's 100% correct. They want to totally shut that down, make it illegal. And they got it in the Project 2025. It's going to be taken out of all the books. You're not going to be able to use those words. It's not going to be, no, yeah.
Okay. Pam, talking point to you. January 6th, what were you expecting?
Well, I'd only seen all of Trump's rallies on television. So I just thought it'd be a bigger one, you know, and I've gone to rallies in Boise, Idaho. I didn't realize, you know, it was over my head that day. It was huge. It was bigger than I expected. But I thought the Proud Boys would be there for security, for Trump, and for us to make sure that the Antifa and Black Lives Matter doesn't interrupt the event. You know, they're not there for any other reason because the picture I've been given with the Proud Boys is not the facts. So I had this vision that they're just there for security and it was going to be like a love-in, you know, we're just all talking and having fun and listening to speakers and, you know, like you're planning to go to Disneyland and it's going to be a nice event. And of course, my plans were to stay there longer, like a little vacation and see the city and see, you know, the memorial, Lincoln Memorial and stuff like that. So.
Okay. To you on that, Anna, when you watch, I know you didn't participate January 6th, but you obviously saw it on TV. What was the first thing you saw on TV and what went through your mind when you saw it go down?
Well, I remember I was asleep and my husband comes in the room. Oh my God, they breached the Capitol. I'm like, what? Who? And he's like, you got to come downstairs. I'm like, oh my God, what's going on? So, I mean, at that point, I didn't see much. You know, they showed little clips here and there, and I just wanted to see. Oh, so what did Mike Pence do? Did he, you know, make sure it was going to go back to the state so they can revote and do and verify everything to make sure the election wasn't stolen? And I was disappointed at that time because I'm like, wow, Mike Pence could at least send it back to the states so they could verify everything because I wanted to make sure for me, you know, for all of us that the election wasn't, there was no like, that there was integrity. So I was still on that boat, but I was like, oh wow. I mean, I didn't see a lot of the violence. And going on Twitter, the whole thing was like hiding the violence. Oh, it was Antifa, it was Antifa, it was the FBI. You know, they're all like pushing, they're all breaking things, and you see them all dressed in the similar gear to Antifa, but Proud Boys dress like that, and I didn't know. And but yeah, that was my recollection of that day, and it makes me furious of how much they hid those videos. And to see Tucker Carlson and Elon Musk posting the little tourists walking around video when were like, oh, look how violent. And I'm like, wait a minute, but there was violence. Why are they trying to brainwash people into thinking that it's a lie? So, oh, it was the FBI and Antifa. So how come we're seeing people that actually broke stuff, broke windows and doors and hurt officers, they're going to jail? So but they never put Antifa in jail. I'm like, well, because maybe there wasn't Antifa, you know? So it was disappointing to me how much I was lied to. It's
Okay.
infuriating.
Pam, off of that talking point, I want to ask you something too.
Yeah, I want to add to that. What you said.
Having pleaded guilty and doing 2 months in jail and I believe 3 years probation.
Yeah.
Okay. How do you feel that you admitted you made a mistake, you pled guilty, you did your 2 months, you're doing probation, and nobody at the top yet, now above the Proud Boys. We know Stuart Rhodes is in prison. We know Enrique Otario, the Oath Keepers and the Proud Boys. We know they're done. But the other ones, the Mark Meadows, the Mo Brooks, the Eastman, the Don Juniors, and the father, all of those people, Giuliani, all of those other people have yet to be held accountable for January 6th.
You know, this is how I put it. Well, first, gotta back up just for a second.
Yep.
I just wanted to make sure I say this so I don't forget what Anna just said. See, Republicans paint this picture of being good people. We leave the Capitol cleaner than when we got there. So I have this vision of a nice little event. No, there's never going to be any violence or anything like that. But to answer your question, how I say it is, I blame them. They are responsible. They set this whole thing up. There was no Antifa. There was no Black Lives Matter involved. Period. However, I take responsibility for what I could have left. I trespass it. I do not, to this day, I was shoved. I didn't have a thought of going in the Capitol. I'm not defending myself or taking away the responsibility that I broke the law, but I'm explaining I was shoved in. It's not like, oh, I want to go in the Capitol. I want to go in, but legally. So I got to make sure people understand. I didn't want to go in just because I could go in, but they did. They all had that attitude. It's our house, and they put that into you. So it's our house. There's no reality to that, right? It's like the Capitol has their rules, but screw their rules. But they're the ones that set this up, and I blame them, especially Michael Flynn. They all had a plan. They know exactly what they were doing. They knew just what to say. It's going to be wild. And I should have thought of that. There's the red flag. It's going to be wild? What does that mean? Well, I thought maybe Black Lives Matter would come there and the Proud Boys might be that kind of wild fight thing, But yeah, I put the blame on Trump. I'm sorry. And it trickles down.
Okay. Anna, you had alluded to this a little bit before, but if you want to talk about this more in detail, feel free. Where you cannot question or criticize Trump, or they attack and they threaten you. And I know we've talked about that offline. And Pam, I'm sure you got some stuff to say about that. But Anna, talk to that talking point. When you push back, how they come at you.
Oh, they've been coming at me since the beginning. Like I said, you cannot ask any simple question. They turn very aggressive and violent. They start like calling, oh, you're a whore. I hate this word, but I know you allow cussing, so I'm saying, oh, you're a whore. You have no respect for yourself. Like you're just a nude model. Why don't you just shut up and do some selfies? That's what they would start. You know, they want to belittle you. So what they did not expect is me fighting back, because I'm a very nice person, but you know, I'm Latina. There's a limit. So I push back and I put them in their place. So till today, it's death threats. It's you know, calling names, slander. Oh, you're transgender. Oh, we can see the Adam's apple. You're just a whore. You're a prostitute. And I'm like, okay, I'm a prostitute. I'm a whore. Why don't you prove it? Oh, we don't have to prove it. We know. No, you got to prove it. I'm a transgender. Why don't you prove it? I had Q. Look, this is just by asking. Guys, I don't like the omnibus bill, for instance. Oh, I don't like what Trump did here. This is not saying I've never said fuck Trump. It's like I said something horrible about Trump and his family. That the way they react is just so aggressive and unhinged. It's like they have this anger and violence inside of them, but it's, well, we saw on January 6th, they are violent, but a lot of them are keyboard warriors, because in person they wouldn't try that shit on me. Let me just tell you, they're all talk. So they like to come at me, call me names, and I go like, "Oh, look at your pictures. You don't look like that. You're Photoshop. You this." They just want to break you, and I'm like, "Wait a minute, are you trying to convince me I don't look good?" No, I look good. I love myself. I always get back to them. I'm like, you want to go that route? You want to criticize my look? Why don't you pose hotter? Oh, they go crazy. Oh, you're a narcissist. You're a bully. No, honey, I know my value. I know who I am. I'm not going to listen to nobody on the internet giving opinions of me. We're talking about politics, and oh, you're a whore. That's like
Yeah, because they got
irrelevant.
nothing. But that's
They
because
got
they got
nothing.
nothing. Yeah, they can't come back. If you say something about the omnibus bill, they should come back and say, "Well, no, Anna, this, and this. You're wrong here, and this is it's about." They don't. It's if it's you're in the LGBTQ, or you're this, or you're, you know, with me, it's about the military. You were never in the military. Show your DD 214. Oh, it just it's pathetic.
Oh, and the fake, oh, you're a fake MAGA. You're a
Yeah.
Democrat plant.
Yeah.
Now they say, oh, you left MAGA. I knew it. I knew you were a liberal plant. How much are they paying you? Well, I'm still waiting for my check.
Right. What did they tell Pam that? Pam's in the FBI. I want to see Pam's badge because you work for the FBI, Pam.
That's right, I do.
Yeah.
Well, I want to say to Anna,
Go ahead.
Anna, they put me on a horse with a beautiful body. Oh my God, that was a nice picture. But to those people that are coming out and pushing back now on Trump and realizing that Trump is a cult leader, he's a narcissist, and you're getting all this pushback, you know, I've gotten it for a long time, and I've had my days. I've called my friend and I said, I'm done with this. When the Democrats, not the Democrats, but the far left or whoever these people are, started coming after me with these lies, it hurts, because you're trying to just bring the facts. It's not like I just decided to get mad at Trump and MAGA. I found out the facts. You lied to me. It's a good sign. Let them come after me. I'm glad that they are. Now I have it's funny now, you know, at first it does hurt when they start doing it, but because we're threatening their narrative, and we will continue to threaten their narrative because they're full of lies, and we're going to keep putting out the facts out there. Truth. The reason I don't say truth, because January 6th, the truth is what they say all the time. So I kind of counteract that with facts. It's the same thing. We're going to continue with our facts, our truth. And you get upset, you say whatever you want about me. I like the name Pam Tifa.
Oh my God.
Get
That's
over
cute.
it. I'm Pam Tifa. I'm an FBI informant. I'm sure the FBI love that one.
They're going to clip this. They're going to clip this part of the show today and say, see, I told you.
Yeah,
Oh
I
my
know
God.
everything you say and more. And I do want attention. I want to be heard, because this message needs to get out there. And I'm so grateful for people like you, Bad Brad, for what you're doing. God bless you. We need more of you. We need more Annas, more me's. We cannot do this by ourselves. Don't be afraid to speak out and let them let them say whatever they're going to say, because they're just scared little, I won't say that
Go
word,
ahead.
the people,
Yeah,
scared little pussies. They
There you
have
go.
no balls.
Right.
They're cowards, they're liars, and they're the ones that want to destroy this country and turn it. We are watching. MAGA is following Hitler. That's the only way I know how to
Yes,
say
they
it.
are.
They're following Hitler, and you and I and people like ourselves are, and Mike Cullen are saying, no, we're not going to let you destroy our country, and you're going to come after us with all this garbage. Good. Bring it. You want my address? I don't give a shit. I'm
Yeah,
not
you
going.
would.
I'm not going
Yeah, you
anywhere.
would.
And don't let them push
Well,
back.
over here, there's 3 German shepherds, so it should be interesting.
There you go.
I'll just eat popcorn and watch them.
And watch them.
Well,
Watch your dog. Okay. So
Anna, keep that little healthy anger. It's a healthy anger, because we're
Oh my
saving
God,
our country.
these people really don't. These people, most of them are all talk. You know,
Yeah,
it's like I said, you cannot. I couldn't ask any questions. Oh, you're a whore, bitch, please.
yeah.
In
Well,
person,
maybe. What
in
about it?
person, you'll be right. I'm like, bitch, please, in my mind. In person, you'll be
Well,
singing a different tune. You know.
yeah.
well, I think being a whore is okay. What about it? What about it? Give me
Can
a
you
break.
imagine? Yeah, I am.
Think of
But
something better.
Yeah.
you're a
Well,
husband.
that's the
I used,
misogyny. But you
Yeah.
you ladies, man.
yes,
Look, you saw what Joey Marinaro, Barbarino, whatever the hell his last name is. You
Joey
saw,
Marinara.
right. All he does is put up racist, misogynistic shit. But when I called him out, now he's got kidney problems. He's got one ball.
Yeah.
You know, every fucking excuse to not get in a boxing ring.
But the big
They're
mouth. He has a big
Yeah.
mouth, all
Right.
tough.
Right.
Bend over for an immigrant. That's what this motherfucker said. Bend over for an immigrant. And then when he went on that show with Ryan,
Ryan. Yeah.
he's all like me, 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 me,
Yeah.
me. And
Like
I'm
a
like,
church mouse.
bitch.
Yeah.
well, Brad, you can't blame him. I would never get in the ring with you. Shit. Hell no. I'm not
Yeah, but
that.
see, I would never challenge a woman, but I would challenge a Joey because Joey he's pathetic. But let me ask this one. So how go to Pam on this? How did you recognize the question is how did you come to recognize MAGA was a cult?
Well, it started with I started the first J6 defendant Twitter space to rescue the J6ers that are being mistreated inside the jails. I'm real mega. I wasn't really turned with Trump at that time. So I heard that Ryan Samsel had, from Gateway Pundit, had lost his whole eye. The guards had beat him up. That was Ryan's story. And so I researched it and I got a hold of somebody that could give me the facts. And I went back to the space and told him he didn't lose his eye. He'd called one of the guards or somebody in there. I don't believe it was the guards. This is my
He
belief. I
said
don't
something
have
racial to him, right? He called him the N-word.
He called him the N-word. And he
Right.
got beat up. But that day his Gibson and Go went over $40,000, and it's, from the story. And I realized, oh my God, they're lying, they're grifting. We don't support this. And I thought they would be glad to hear it. It was the opposite. I got gaslighted. Well, who did you talk to? And at first I couldn't reveal who I talked to for his sake. But now it's okay because they said it's fine. It was their lawyer. And I thought, well, the lawyer wouldn't lie to me. He didn't lose his eye. And then one lie after another. And then they got mad at me and started a smear campaign against me. And so I opened up the J6 gaslighting space and got the sedition hunters and a bunch of researchers and Democrats to come in and help me dig the facts. And we did this Stop the Spin. I would throw out the lie that the Capitol Police were opening the doors and the sedition hunters would come in with evidence that they didn't, that it was actually court records that the defendants had admitted to opening the doors. So we started, bringing the facts to counteract their lies about January 6th.
Okay. Same talking point, Deanna. What was your final? I'm out. This is it.
From the cult.
Yeah.
I think, well, Now that you say that, remember, I think it was a couple of years ago when MTG went to the Fuentes event in
Yep.
Florida.
Yep.
Okay, so a couple of people that I still talk to on Twitter, MAGA people, uh, one of the girls said, "Can you please go on this thread because they're attacking MTG because they're saying that it's a racist event on at CPAC." So I went there and said, "What racist event is CPAC? It's a convention. There's no racist event." So I went in hot because my friends were getting attacked. So I started pushing back with the liberals. This is a CPAC, and one liberal said, "Anna, it's not CPAC. It's an event outside of CPAC because Fuente is not even allowed in CPAC. They want nothing to do with him." And so I'm like, wow, but MTG, I mean, what's going on? The guy was super nice. He said, that was a wake up call because I'm like, wow, we are told that liberals are hateful, horrible people. And the guy said, "Could you please watch the video, this video? Could you please take a moment and watch the video?" He was so polite. He didn't cuss at me like MAGA. So I watched the video, and the video was Fuentes saying it was an all white event. And oh, that was when Putin was invading Ukraine. So to me, that's when it started because it wasn't like one day I woke up and said, "Oh, it's a cult." It was several events, that kept happening, and that I was putting things together. And but the video, the guy Fuentes says, "Oh, kind of like almost like hail to Trump," and then you see MTG speaking later. She goes, "Oh, I didn't know the event was. I didn't know Fuentes. I'm sorry. You're a congresswoman. You don't vet your people. Vet where you go, because if I invite her to come to my house, she's not going to come to my house." So she knew exactly where she
Of
was
course she
going,
did.
but she didn't think she was going to get called out for it. So it was an all whites event, all men, because they hate women. The red pill. They think women are just for sex and making babies and cooking, and that's it. Women are to be used. That's the red pill. So that
Yeah.
was a wake up call, and I apologized to the guy. So I went back to my friend and I said, "Please don't ever do this to me again," because I had to apologize to a liberal. Why would you do that? Because he is right, and he was polite. And MTG, I'm like, this is disgusting. She went to a racist event. This is a white supremacy event. No, she didn't know. Please don't be unfair. No, no, no. I said, no, fuck her. I said, no, fuck her. I'm like, what's going on? Yeah, I'm like, no, what's going on with this? So I started like, wait a minute. The liberals say that there's racism in the party. Oh, but it's not everyone. So here they come. No, Anna, please, please, because I'm valuable, right? They can't be losing big voices. No, Anna, please. Some people were genuine, but a lot of people, please don't go. It's not everybody. We don't like her, but we got united. We stand. United stand. So, and obviously last year with the LGBTQ, the war against them, that was final to me. The way they think that transgenders are out to just kidnap your kids and make everybody transgender. The LGBTQ just want to cut kids' genitals, and that's how they are. Oh, that's how they come out to us now. Oh, you're a pedophile. You're a pedophile. You want to, yeah, you're a groomer. You want to cut children's genitals, and I'm like, they can go through a affirming care surgery if they're not 18.
Right.
So that is incorrect. And they're like, that's not true. They're cutting at 14. I'm like, okay, it's all lies. Lies, propaganda. When you call them out, when you ask them questions, they come at you. When you call them out, it's death threats. Oh, also, I'm a citizen. Oh, we're not sure, but if you're on the street, we can go up to you and ask you if you're a citizen because it's in the Constitution. I have the right to demand your papers. I go, bitch, try me. I'm like, I wish a motherfucker would try me. Try me. See, try me. And they're like, oh, Trump is going to reevaluate everybody's green card and citizenship to see if you're worthy to stay in this country. I go, yeah, sure. Over my dead body, this ain't happening.
Okay,
So don't even get me started.
I got you. So let me ask you both this question. How persistent were the Trump emails asking for money all the time? Like you see today, everything is money, money, money. I mean, I know Democrats and Republicans raise money, but the Trump machine is like anything negative, raise money off of they indicted me, raise money. You know, all the garbage that Trump does. So during your time, how often would you see them asking for money constantly with those ridiculous emails?
Me or Pam?
Both of you. Well, whoever wants to take it first.
Yeah, often, but I thought like you meant it was like a campaign thing. It was annoying, the emails. But it's worse now with him selling sneakers and then after, come on, selling the word of God. I mean, I'm not even religious and I was like, I can't believe this. So selling the Bible with the Constitution inside with an American flag in the Bible. I mean, and then this guy goes, I'm rich. I sold Truth Social. I'm a billionaire again. So bitch, why are you asking money? You
Yeah.
know, you
Right.
got all this money. Why are you asking money?
Right. Okay. Pam, you
Well,
decided, if I understand correctly, you decided to be a Democrat. Did you want to say something off that talking point?
yeah, well, I just wanted to mention when I went to meet Don Jr. to get my evidence that they don't care about January Sixers. That was one of the questions I asked him later was, how do you feel about your dad going to prison? He didn't say anything about that. He says, no, they just want our money. But because I'm on their list and I'm trying to do posts on this every day, they're trying to get money and they're trying to sell something new every day. Right now, it's the 48 hours that he has till Monday. So they're asking for money. I'll post that today. And I'm going to have to come up with a joke about it. But yeah, I'm getting all these uh, messages about now then it was a black hat just the other day with the MAGA. It's black though. Every day there's something they need you to give them more money, but they got money. They got money.
Okay. Pam, from what I understand, you're going to switch your political affiliation to Democrat. Is that correct? Or you have?
Well, yeah. Well, what's the difference, Democrat or independent? But I see. Now that I know what a Democrat is, very self-centered. I'm attracted to that because I see the Democrats today. That's been my hope. I want you to see how I see Democrats today. It's night and day. They are the most loving, caring people I've ever met. They're so different from MAGA. It's night and day. The most they want. For an example, I'm not for abortion. But the Democrats, they may not be for abortion, but they want you to have your rights, no matter what. They get themselves out of the way and they're thinking about what's right for everyone, not what my biblical belief is or whatever, you know. So they're very non-self-centered. They're just so different. I should have always been a Democrat. That's my heart. But I thought Republicans were in the mindset of caring about people and wanting everybody to have the rights, the constitutional rights. But they just lie to you and cover up so much that people like me that are vulnerable and trusting don't do their own research. I think we're waking up a lot. So, yeah, I'm looking into changing to becoming a
But at a
Democrat.
minimum, even if you didn't, I could say this on a show, on a panel today, you're voting, obviously, I just wanted for the record that you're voting for President Biden in November.
Yeah, I voted for him in the primaries
In
here in
primary,
South
okay.
Carolina.
Okay, and to you, Ann, I know you're voting for President Biden this time around too, correct?
Oh yeah, and I have not changed my affiliation. I've changed in my heart, but I'm thinking of either independent or Democrat. And Pam is correct when she talks about Democrats being loving. And in MAGA, you're under the impression from what they say that the Democrats aren't Christians. No one in the Democratic Party is Christian. The amount of liberals and Democrats who wish me Merry Christmas, Happy Easter. I'm like, wait a minute, they say Happy Easter? They say Merry Christmas? And I was like shocked. And even one of our friends, Deanna, which wasn't, she didn't know, she said she wasn't going to vote. Now she was going to vote for President Biden too. People are waking up and thinking, you know, even if I don't like Biden, I'm not talking about me. Like people go, oh, I don't like Biden. I don't agree with a lot. But the bigger danger is Trump with all the MAGA crazy movement and and our rights as women and minorities and, you know, including the LGBTQ, that everything that could be taken away. But talking about how kind Democrats are, so many people, I'm afraid to say, oh, I voted for Trump twice. And many, I think I only had one person that didn't like it and said something ridiculous, but most Democrats have said, you know, we welcome you with open arms. We're just so glad you woke up. Good for you, you know, and no one criticized. I mean, most people don't criticize you for being in a cult. They're curious. So what, like you're doing. So what made you get into a cult? What made you still vote for him after COVID and everything in 2020? Why did you still vote? So they're curious in that regard. But hey, Anna, no, we got you. We got your back. You're one of us now. We love you. We accept you. Don't worry about your past, what you said in the past, how you voted. It's moving forward because they think like this is more important than start nitpicking on people like Pam and I. It's not about the past, it's about the future, you know, and our country, our freedoms are at stake. It's bigger than you know, this is very serious, you know, the war against women, especially, not just as far as abortion goes, but with the red pill movement, how they see women. And unfortunately, a lot of women in MAGA, they think that, oh, I'm submissive to my husband. The Bible says my husband does all the decisions. I cook, I clean. Okay, that's fine if that's how you want to live your life, but you can't force on everybody else. Oh, like you have the big guys like Jack Posobiec, Charlie Kirk. Oh, women are the happiest at home. They're unhappy in a corporate world. They have cats. It's also a war against cats. I'm like, when they are the pussies, you know. I'm like, I mean, like it's ridiculous to say that. How does he know how happy I am? Oh, Taylor Swift is a terrible example. Women, when they dress sexy, they are unhappy. What? So I need to be in a burqa to be happy? I'm like, you're not a woman. I know how I like how I dress. It's nobody's business, you know? It's just like the way they're so condescending towards women.
Well,
They
look
think
where
we
it
are.
comes from, there, Anna. It comes from the top. Trump is a misogynistic pig who doesn't respect women. He said the most vile stuff about his daughter when they were on The View. What do you have in common with your daughter? Sex. He was on Robin Leach, Lifestyles of Rich and Famous, decades ago, when he was married to the second wife, who he cheated on the first wife with. And he said, what does Tiffany, the daughter who you don't hear much of, what do you have in common? And he goes like this: their breasts. Who says that about your daughter? So
Hey,
they
that I didn't
feel,
know.
right, they feel that they can talk like him because he's their leader, he's the strength, he's the guy that made them come out of the swamps and feel
The
comfortable.
alpha.
The alpha, right?
Alpha.
Yeah.
I'm an alpha male.
Yeah, yeah. But it's
Yes.
disgusting. Pam, you've talked about this. We talked about this show. You never liked when he said grab her by the pussy on the Hollywood Access tape. You talked about how you hated that.
Oh, the first thing they tell you is, well, it's men's locker room talk.
No.
Just one quick thing what Anna just said, just keep in mind, Anna, because I think it's important people understand that I do understand being a January 6th defendant is a little different than just being a Republican changing parties, because, and I don't want you to stop being angry at the J6 defendants, a healthy anger. You should keep it. However, it is important that people understand that I'm hoping that more J6 defendants can see what I've been able to see and have a safe place to go, though. That's why I'm staying, because it could be, we need a safe place for people like myself, because there is a lot of pushback just because I'm a January 6th defendant. And I get it.
And I understand it. And I understand it. And I've said this and I'll say it on record right now again. I'm not changing what I said before. I wouldn't support Pam, and I wouldn't be receptive to having Pam on my show. I would not platform her if she did something violent to the police. But that is not what she did. She did what she did. She knows what she did. She's accepted responsibility. She did her time. But she wasn't one that took a flag and hit Fanone or tased them or took bear spray or did anything to the police. That's not to minimize that you were there, but it was not the same for me. And that's the reason why when the people on the far left will attack us after this panel, maybe, and say, once again, you platform Pam. This is why. Because if there's other J6ers that come out that did not beat the police up, I would be willing to have them on the show to have a conversation like Pam and I did. But if you did any, this is just me. If you did anything to the police, I don't have nothing. I'm done. I'm done. Because what they did to Ganell, if you buy Ganell's book, in which I read his book and reviewed it on my show, he was a guest. First of all, he had to retire from the damage that he got. He already had PTSD, but it was worse. Right. They tore his foot up. They beat him up. Even Pam, who was there, got stepped on. It wasn't, they didn't care. And if you got stepped on, Pam, you know how many other people got stepped on too? Yeah. They didn't care about you that day.
But it's not my place. I'm not going to forgive the J6ers either.
Right.
That pepper sprayed the officers. I was there and I saw that and I wanted to help them. That's not okay. You went over the line. There's a line you draw in the sand. And they went over.
Right, well, it's like your video when you told a guy, put that book back, we don't steal. And you got the proof. You got the receipts. I don't care what almost everything that I've seen, and I'm sure there's more that you have, every time they've come at you, whether it's the far left or the right, you always have a video or a receipt. And you explain what happened. Now, it doesn't matter to MAGA, and you know this, Anna, I'm talking to everybody now. It doesn't matter. You could give them 20 receipts, Anna. They don't care. Because they're mad because you've seen the light and you understand that what Trump really is, what the cult is really about, what's really going on. And it's a shame in 2024 that we have, with social media, which is a huge part of it, so much disinformation. That's why I went after Joey, because he puts these lies out there and you and I talked about this offline. Dorsey wasn't the greatest, but Jack was better than Elon. Now there's no filters. Elon lets them put anything and everything they want out there. And the thing is, right, and under the auspice of freedom of speech. There's freedom of speech, and then there's ridiculousness and out lies. And I don't care if it's on the left or the right, it needs to be checked. And it's not on Twitter. It's really, really bad.
And every time you see Ashley Babbitt out there as a hero, please push back on that one.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Just go research her videos. She was told to stop. She didn't stop.
He has a gun.
Right. But, Mickey and the Freedom Corner spin all of this stuff. First of all, the first one was they were political prisoners. And as I always say on my show, political prisoners were Stephen Biko and Nelson Mandela, who, by the way, Trump compared himself, because there's no low, to Nelson Mandela the other day. He can go fuck himself with that. Now they're hostages, which is insulting to everybody that was, especially the Israeli hostages right now, but any hostages, the Iran hostages that were taken during Jimmy Carter's presidency. Anybody that was a hostage, they're not hostages. And if I noticed stat correctly, I believe, and Pam, you may know this better than me, I want to say, and I could be wrong with the number, there's about 500 people or so that are being held that absolutely did stuff to the police that they're saying are hostages and wrongfully incarcerated. Because the cops don't mean anything on January 6th to the party of law and order now.
But Trump's using that. He knows they're not hostages. He don't care about them. He's not even going to pardon them. It's all a lie.
And you know one thing, like when now a lot of them are noticing I laughed, they come at me, oh, so you're going to vote for a guy that showered with his daughter? So this is where they go. So you're okay with a pedophile that showered with his daughter? I go, okay, so can you give me a link that tells me that the pages that you're pushing are from the diary? Well, the FBI already no. So where's the link to the pages? Because there's right there Young instead of it's like YUNG. I'm sorry, I cannot believe that a teenager from, she wasn't poor. This is a rich kid, doesn't write young. Okay, this is not like a slang. Oh, I'm cool. I write young. I was molested.
Yeah.
Okay, where is the link? I want to know, because these pages already, Project Veritas fired the guy, like, because it's not true. So that's why I go to him. Oh, they start posting memes. I go, honey, memes are, this is not proof. Oh, but they go, it like 500 memes. I'm like, memes are
Well, how
not
about
proof. I want to see
Anna?
proof.
Right. How about the one that they claimed that Joe Biden sexually assaulted or whatever, and she's in Russia now? I can't, Tara, can't think of
Tara
her.
Reid.
Is it Tara Reid? I can't remember her name. But she went to Russia.
Yeah,
But is
What's
it
she
Tara
doing
Reid?
over there?
Tara Reid, yeah.
Yeah, she's in Russia now. She went to Russia. Yeah. Yep.
So safe.
Yeah.
And when Biden's hugging kids and kissing them on the cheek, that's what grandpas do. It's natural. How many men do that? I see it all the time. But nowadays you can't even hug a kid. It's frightening, because they
Look at
go
Trump.
after,
Trump,
it's just
Trump is
natural.
the most unaffectionate person there is. Anna, like you
Biden's
talk about when
affectionate.
chewing his hand away when Melania and him are walking and she's pushing his hand away. And Melania is cold as a fish.
Oh,
Cold fish. But yeah. Okay, so let me ask you this. Those talking points that we covered, I want to go back to Pam. What else would you like to say on the panel today? Any talking point or something you want to put out?
Pam, right?
Yeah, Pam.
I've got my focus is Project 2025. That's what we need to keep planting that seed. Make a commitment to put something up about Project 2025 at least once a day. It's getting out there more. I noticed, if you noticed, Brad, and more people. I'm hoping Biden will start using it as a talking point to compare, see what's going to happen to this country, because it's so frightening. It's so scary. So that's the main thing, is really stay on top of that. I'm not an expert in Project 2025, because who's going to read 920 pages? Get some points about it though and share it with other people. I have done that. I've had a few people come back and say, okay, Pam, I did look it up. You're right. It's scary. It's worse than what you described. And that's helping. I think that'll help. We need to get that out there more.
Okay. Anna, same to you. What else would you like to get out?
Well, I agree with her. Project 2025 is very important. And if you look at the video of Trump selling the Bible, he says every American needs to have a Bible at home. Christianity is coming back, and it's coming back stronger than ever. And so that ties into the Heritage Foundation, which is Project 2025, which they're responsible for the transition teams, and they are Trump advisors. So they probably said you need to sell the Bible and you need to push the Christianity. And you see that, like I mentioned, with the red pill, the way they view women, they want to push. That's why Charlie Kirk goes to these young events for the youth, because he wants to shape their mind. And it's funny, they go to college and try to tell the women in college, you shouldn't be here, shouldn't get an education, because there's no education anymore. It's indoctrination. And it's funny because I did a Harvard course. I did 2 courses, and it's through their medical school, which is lifestyle medicine, to become a wellness coach, which they like to say, oh, you're indoctrinated, because it's Harvard. And it's a course that you can take online. It's becoming very in because of COVID. A lot of people just take a lot of courses at home. But with that being said, they want to push the indoctrination. There was nothing in my course that was trying to indoctrinate me. These are doctors. There were older doctors that are in great shape, and they talk about nutrition. And this is something that also with MAGA bacon every day. They think that they want to they're coming for our Bibles, our guns, and our beef and the bacon. So remember when Obama said that, and even at that time I thought, oh my God, this is offensive. But no, he's right. Now they cling to the Bible, to the guns, to the bacon, to the beef. And oh yeah, they want us to eat what is it? Bugs. No one wants to force you to eat bugs. There was nothing like that in my course. They're talking about plant-based is not eating bugs. It's just healthier for you. But no, these people are very ignorant. They think that the only way to gain good testosterone levels is through beef, which is not true. And remember the soy boy? Oh, you drink soy milk. Even at that time, I was ignorant, and it's a myth. If you eat soy, it does not make you gain boobs, you know. And if it's true, a lot of vegan women would have like triple D's, you know, because you eat a lot of tofu. Then woo, you know.
Yeah, you know, to everything you just said, you know what's disgusting? You both obviously love this country, okay? And I do as well. You know, I served in the military. Doesn't make me any better than anybody else, but I did sacrifice, and that's why I call out veterans that support Trump. But here's the thing. You know what's so sad? And I think all of us will agree on this panel today, and I'm not far left. I don't think anybody on this panel is far left. I think we're all pretty much centered. I know with LGBTQ, on social issues, we're more liberal. We might be all conservative to a certain point on spending, all that, and that's fine. We need two parties in this country. We do. One party is not the way to go. We need pushback, period, but good pushback. And it's sad that right now you have, don't get me wrong, we have some insanity on the far left too, with the squad, some of the stuff they do, I'm not a fan of. But the far right, it's not even the far right, really. And I say that because if you're a Republican and you're more centered, but you're complicit and you let Marjorie Taylor Greene or Matt Gaetz or Bobart do the things that they say and do, and you don't push back against Trump because you're scared of two things. One, to get primaried, which means that's not country over party. That means you're not putting the country over party, because you would be like, look, then primary me, but I'm not going to go along with this. I got elected to support my constituents and do what I feel is right. And number two, death threats. Because when these people go out against Trump, he says, primary them, and then they get death threats. And a perfect example of that for the viewers watching this show today, this panel, is the former governor, when they were doing the investigation on Fani Willis, the former governor of Georgia she asked him to be the special prosecutor instead of the guy that wound up being her boyfriend. And he testified under oath, and he said he was honored that she asked him to be the special prosecutor for this case. And the election, when he called about, I just need so many votes. But he said, I don't want it because I will get death threats for the remainder of my life. He's probably pushing it. He might be in his early 70s, late 60s. He didn't want to touch that, which is sad. You do the right thing. So my point is, the Republicans that aren't the Greens, that are actually working with Democrats, because President Biden did pass bipartisan bills, which means you have Republicans to vote on. Yeah. But they won't come out and say, no, this is not, I know Mitt Romney he was timid about it. At least he did it. But there's not more Republican voices. And it's sad that we have to constantly push back on all this disinformation. And social media is the biggest culprit of it. But I'm glad that both of you today are talking about the disinformation that is coming from the MAGA cult, because that's the majority of what is driving these people. And you saw it yourselves. I see it, but you were in it. You saw, well, Pam, you question this, Anna, you question that, and they give you logic that makes no sense, because let's be honest, Trump makes no sense. He can't talk to you about a policy. When he debates on the stage, he's not talking about policies. He's taking shots. He's getting sound bites, So I'm glad that you did it. Go ahead.
No, it just sounds awful. Like I just saw a clip. I forgot who posted about Trump saying, "Oh, I'm the person that knows best about science. Nobody knows better about science than me." I'm like, huh? And no one loves the Bible more than I do. Yeah. I mean, this is madness. Yeah. I mean, what are you talking about? You know the Bible more than, this is a guy that's anti-Christ. Right. For a lot of stuff that he does. Right.
Pam does videos where she quotes scripture. Do you know, let's be honest. We all believe, I believe in God. All of us here believe in God. You know, it doesn't matter how, you know, what level, if you go to church or whatever, God is everywhere. So I know I'm not a churchgoer anymore because I don't like
Yeah.
what's on.
Me neither.
However, comma, Pam does videos and quotes scripture. Do you know anybody that believes in God and that is sincere, that's not going to give you some scripture, whether you want to hear that scripture or not, they're going to tell you. But when Trump is asked, what's your, that's personal. It's not
Yeah.
personal. He knows no scripture. Joe Biden goes to church every Sunday. Every Sunday. When Joe Biden swore in, it was on his family's Bible. The thing was like this thick. That was his Bible. Trump doesn't believe it. Trump says, I have more Bibles. Where? In Mar-a-Lago, in the rooms where the beds, where you put a quarter in the machine and the bed vibrates, it's got a Bible over there. Where's his Bibles at?
Oh my gosh. Yeah, they asked, like, which book do you like? The old
or new?
Oh, I love both.
Yeah,
They're
both.
fantastic.
Well,
they're tremendous.
remember Gandhi? He quoted the Bible. One thing I want to just say before we end it, I'll make sure I get out there. Don't think that we can't do anything. I want to do a call of action and write a letter or email, whatever, phone call, record it, show me that you did it. We need to push back on our representatives. We got to get them, we got to wake them up. Stop being a coward. Stand up. Push them. Get those letters out there. Let me see that you're doing this. Don't be talking about what they're not doing. I want to see you pushing these representatives. I think if they hear enough from enough of us, and we're all getting this, if it's a sentence, wake up, stand up, say something, push back on Trump and these MAGA, this Marjorie Taylor Greene. I want to hear from you. What are you doing? You know what I'm saying, Brad?
Yes.
We got to push. We got to get these representatives. Stop being so scared of death threats. Come get me, kill me, whatever. I'm going to lose my job as a. Are you? Who voted for you? Who got you in that office? Did Trump? You think Trump's going to let you stay anyway? Come on. What are you compromising here? This is our country, and the people that put you in that office, damn it, they're depending on you. Stop letting these bullies take over. Stand up. Get in the ring with Brad. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Get your ass whipped.
We gotta shake them up a little bit. Yeah.
Exactly. I absolutely agree. Let's do this. We're going to close out shortly, but before we do, I want to take a short commercial break here, and then we'll talk on the other side. Hey folks, this is Bad Brad Berkwitt, the host of the Bad Brad Berkwitt Show on the Ringside Report web TV channel. And I want to talk to you about sponsorship. If you're interested in being a sponsor on the Bad Brad Berkwitt Show that features network guests and entertainers and people from all walks of life in business and other areas, reach out to me at ringsidereport2014@gmail.com. Again, that's ringsidereport2014@gmail.com. I'm finally in a position that I'm ready to take on sponsors. So, hey, reach out to me and let's get you on board. I want to talk to you about my book, Boxing Interviews of a Lifetime. If you watch my show, The Bad Brad Berkwitt Show, you know that I love doing 360 conversations with all types of people. Well, I made my bones in boxing over a quarter of a century ago, interviewing world champion boxers, people in the sport, and entertainers that love the sport of boxing, which led to my induction into the Florida Boxing Hall of Fame in June of 2021. And that's the ring that you see me wear all the time on my show. Well, if you like to pick up my book, Boxing Interviews of a Lifetime, go to authorhouse.com. Again, it's authorhouse.com. And if you would like to get it personally inscribed or inscribed for somebody that you're sending it to as a gift, you can reach out to me and we can arrange for something as well. All right, we're now back to our panel today, exposing the MAGA cult, which I think we gave many examples, both Pam and Anna did. You see what they're up against by doing the right thing. I always was taught that we should do the right thing. So when you do the right thing with the right, it's the wrong thing to them, because you're not supposed to tell the truth. You're not supposed to, they talk about Christianity. They're the Antichrist. They're not, you're not Christians. You're not patriots. You're hatriots, because you're rolling with somebody that is in bed with Putin, a dictator, Orban, a dictator, Xi, a dictator, and Kim Jong-un, a dictator. You never talk about anybody else in countries that are you want to pull us out of NATO. He pulls us out of NATO, and they come after us. We're screwed when we don't have anybody to back us up. They can say whatever they want. But what I would like to do, the last two things I want to close out on today, ladies, is this. I hate to ask it, but I got to. Worst case scenario, and I want you to pull no punches on this one. Doomsday question. I'll start with you, Pam. If Trump wins, and it is a possibility, I don't want to tell anybody it's not. You got to get out there and vote, like Pam said. You have to vote. There's only one candidate. You don't have to like all President Biden's policies. I say it all the time, but there's only one candidate that you can vote for out of Trump and Biden that is going to uphold democracy. We will survive 4 years of Biden. We will not survive as a country 4 more years or many years after that of Donald Trump. So with that said, if he were to win, Pam, what happens to America?
What happened to Germany? It won't last. There's too many of us. We will push back like you've never seen in your life. It won't happen. It won't stand for very long. I have faith in the people in this country. They will not let him take away our democracy. It'll be tough. It'll be hard. But when these policies start coming out and he dismantles all our system, because, they're already hiring everybody. And if you say Trump wants it, even if you go out there and protest, he's going to have the National Guard come and arrest you, right?
Right.
Well, he's going to have to arrest millions because they're not going to stand down.
Yeah, I agree.
They're not going to stand down.
Okay, Anna, same thing. Doomsday question. If he were to win.
If Trump, yeah, like you said, it is a possibility and it's scary. First of all, I think it will, the MAGA will be celebrating. They're feeling emboldened, and they will come for the people who say one little thing, against Trump. You won't be able to question him. You won't be able to say anything. They will come. They will find you. They will hurt you. I feel like a lot of people, because they're obsessed with guns, and they think that the left doesn't have guns. They're very wrong. The left the left's not obsessed with guns, but they have guns. But they think that they're the only ones with guns. They think they're the only ones who love the country, who love America. And also, no one's going to want to work with Trump, even his own party. So I don't know what's going to happen. He's going to have a fit. He's going to feel like a dictator. He's going to want to, I don't know if maybe Pam is more in a reality than I am. I'm still thinking, I don't think it would be like Germany, but I think that if it's not from the government, his followers, his supporters would want to enforce something like towards women and towards the LGBTQ would be like I've already heard them say, you want to be gay, just keep it in a closet at home. No transgenders, because they already don't want them to use the bathroom. If they suspect someone is not a real woman, they want to harm them. They want to kill them. I've seen it on Twitter. People saying, "Oh, I was at this place and I saw a man in a dress and I have a gun on me and I told him if he doesn't leave, I'm going to shoot him." I mean, these people are crazy and they will feel emboldened. We will push back, but I feel like if Trump wins, it's going to get really ugly. And if he loses, January 6th might look like a day in the park, unfortunately. I feel like they're going to be like, oh, it was stolen again. We got to take our country back now. And it will be several January 6s and the pushback. And because the way he talks about, I don't want to make this too long, but the way he talks about now, it was before it was about bringing people together, right? I want to be present even for the people that don't like me. I want them to succeed too. And now he comes out and says that Democrats want to destroy the country. Democrats want to corrupt your children, make them become transgender, whatever. Like he goes after that now. It's no secret. He speaks of Democrats being the enemy. So he really wants two groups to hate each other. We should, even if we say we don't like what MAGA is doing, we still want to bring people together. Like Brad said, if you weren't violent, I welcome you in my show. And we still want to see Americans, the two-party system, but not being enemies, agree to disagree, bring people together. Don't think that because I'm resentful of MAGA that I wouldn't extend an olive branch. We are all Americans. People wake up. It should be country above anything. And don't hate the LGBT community. People are just trying to be accepted, to live their lives. They're not bad people. Let's come together as a country again. It feels like the government doesn't want that, especially the Trump side. We still can come together, you know?
Okay. Pam, before we go back to you for a minute, before we finish out today, give the viewers your social, where they can find you on social media. I know Twitter, give them your handle.
Oh, it's at Pam Hemphill 79.
Okay. Anywhere else?
Yeah, it's Pamela Hemphill. I have a YouTube channel. I throw up some of the J6 videos there and some of my ranting that I do sometimes.
Okay.
I'm not trying to promote my YouTube channel though, but there's some stuff there they might find interesting.
Okay, good. Okay, Anna, same thing, your social media platforms for the viewers.
It's all my social media is under at the Ana Braga, because there's so many Ana Bragas. So I'm the Ana Braga. But yeah, Instagram, Twitter, X, and on Facebook it's not the Ana Braga, but I'm verified there, so you can find me there. But more active on Instagram and Twitter.
Okay, back to you, Pam. Before we close out, anything you'd like to add?
No, I just want to say thank you very much for the opportunity for us to let people know that there is hope out there, that, I really believe there's probably more out there that are trying to leave MAGA, but they're afraid because of the pushback that they get. Don't be afraid. You're not alone. We're here to support you any way we can. And again, I want to thank you for what you're doing for our country. I really appreciate you.
Thank you. You're welcome. Go ahead, Anna. Anything else you want to add?
No, thank you, Brad, for giving us the space here, and thank you for your service. You are the real patriot. And before I closed, someone said last night, I'm going to take back our flag, because it feels like MAGA has taken over, like stolen the flag. So she said, I'm taking back our flag. And I said, I'm taking back the word patriot, because it's just used. So I said, the flag, they can keep the Confederate flag. We're taking the American flag. But with that being said, I'm still, like I said, I don't want people to think that I'm just like hate MAGA. I still have friends. And I want to extend the same that Democrats extended to me, which was acceptance and kindness, because there are good people that are still in MAGA that are afraid to leave or haven't fully woken up yet. And even if you say you're not voting at all this election, I would still be kind to you like they were to me. It's not about hating each other, it's about bringing people together. And it's okay to have an opinion. It's okay to be critical of Trump. And if they are being mean to you, you can leave. It's not easy. It's a risk, because some of them are so hateful that they will threaten you, but you have to have courage. It's refreshing, and it's been quite an experience. And Democrats are not the enemy. They're not bad people, and they will accept you as long as you weren't violent, but even if we forgive everybody, that's what I wanted to say. I still want to see our country come together and doing things for the country and accepting all people. Because if Jesus were to come back, and I'm not religious, I'm spiritual, but I believe if Jesus were to come back, he would go straight into the LGBTQ community, not because they're the sinners, but because they're being mistreated. And a lot of the LGBTQ, they're just loving people. They don't want to go after your children, steal your children. And it isn't always about sex, but for some people in MAGA, they say they're religious, everything is sex to them. It's so weird. But thank you for the opportunity. Thank you, Pam. You actually inspired me to come out, and I was still afraid before I met you. I had left, but I was like, I'm not going to say anything. I'm scared. I'm no longer scared. And I want others to know that there's freedom in leaving, and there's more of us, and there's support.
Okay.
So thank you.
All right. Well, to both you ladies, thank you for coming on today. You know, you both have access to me. If you need to get a message out or something like that, you can always come back on the show. I'll have you back on again. And just stand strong. And Pam, you're putting out a lot of good information. Continue to do what you do. I know you get attacked from the crazy far left. Don't even worry about them. I'm serious. It doesn't matter. Most of them hide. Most of them hide. Whether it's the crazy far left or the right. And you know this better than anybody, Anna, because as soon as you post something up, they start coming out. It's like they're like rats. They're like roaches for raid. They come out the woodwork. But keep doing what you're doing. I'm proud of both of you. On that note, enjoy the rest of your day, and let's keep fighting and get people out to vote in November.
Let's go.
Thank you, Brett.
Take care.